let me explain again the sort of physical detail of it. You've got, Tom, let me use you for a model here. Just turn around so I can use your back. There we go. Okay. We got, on the back, we've got this thing the Chinese call a lump of mud. This sort of very obvious bone up here. We've got this indentation down here. You have these big muscles that flank the spine that run down like this. What you actually have to do is simply contract those muscles. That's all, really, that you have to do. But if you could just do that simply, it would be very easy. When you do that, it eliminates this lower curve and the upper one by pulling the whole spine into alignment with the pelvis. The trouble is that these same muscles here run down the spine, and from the spine come the intercostal muscles like this and the abdominal muscles like this, and they all start here. So we've got kind of armored together psychologically the idea that whenever you straighten up the back, you also contract these. So you have this classic look of, you have two choices in posture. It's usually like this or like this. And actually, I want you to find the third choice, which is to pluck up the back, but to leave all of these muscles completely relaxed and without contracting. And this eliminates this. It eliminates this lift of the chest. The chest lifts because these intercostals contract like this, and then the stomach pulls in. It all looks very balletic. The difficulty, as I say, doing just these and letting these go. So every time you do a movement in Taiji, when your mind is distracted from this the slightest bit until it becomes completely habitual, you'll find every movement you make, the back collapses. You have to remember, put it back. You make another movement, the back collapses. You have to remember to straighten it out. But in fact, there's absolutely no hope of showing any of the high-level things of Taiji unless this remains with integrity. For instance, suppose we're doing hand pushing here, and Tom gives me a little push.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Anything sort of. It's extremely easy to go ahead to neutralize this push. Let's make it a little clearer. I'll neutralize it a little farther. Push more on one side. Empty, down, and this can return. It's extremely easy to make this work if you have the spine straight. As soon as this is, wait a second. You got to do it slow so I can make the mistake. As soon as I distort this, then I make exactly the same movement, and it seems like nothing returns easily at all. I mean, your two choices in Taiji Chuan are, it either feels like the easiest thing in the world, or it's completely impossible. And the trouble with students is, as they practice, when they have little flaws like this, they think, this is supposed to work, I'm doing everything right. So they add a little leaning, or a little force, or a little whatever they want. They don't realize that the real problem is in here. It may be other problems, but in this case, I'm talking about this real problem. The real problem is that my spine is distorted. So if I can, in fact, adjust this, then the thing returns. It's a very mechanical little principle. It has nothing to do, really, with your own personal force. It has only to do with the fact of you being like a little device for transferring the person's yang to where his yin is. If Tom pushes me, go ahead. Oop, that missed. If he pushes me, don't push so straight. I can't show the principle.
Trying to avoid your
microphone? Well, yeah, just push on one side. If Tom pushes me, and I'm like a little top that spins around, it's like my hand comes back to where his weakness is. If he temporizes and moves his arms around, then it keeps changing where that is. But in any simple push, there's a simple point of weakness. It's like saying you can't have a yang without a yin. In a simple sense, if I attack you like this, even so, I have a yin. It's in the back. So you say, well, maybe this isn't that practical. A martial art, after all, I can't always get behind the guy. Well, in fact, guys who attack you like this, you don't need much martial art for. They're not very good boxers. Where Taiji really shines is when you deal with good boxers who know how to turn their waist, so that whenever they make a move, they have a yang and they have a yin, and it's both in front. So actually, by attaching here, when he pushes here, I find where the hole that he generates is. The mistake that most people who do Taiji is that they try to mix this process up with their own personal feeling of strength. So, for instance, if he pushes, and the return point is here. The actual control that I feel is extremely light. It's like I can just bounce him around like this. But if I decide I want to add a little something to it, then I put in this extra power, then I find the whole thing becomes completely weak. So, and this may not be as subtle, as crude as just adding it with your arms. People generally have some kind of feeling that they need to do some sort of thing with their center. They need to sort of make some kind of powerful move. The whole trick of hand pushing, Tuisho, is to decondition you from these reflexes of thinking that you can generate power in these sort of ways. Like when you first tell someone that he's leaning on you, it's like this. Hold me up.
Okay.
If he's leaning on you like this and you say, you're leaning, they say, oh, no problem, I can fix that. So they straighten up, and then what you feel is something like this. It's like they're unclear on the concept of what leaning is. Leaning is not an obvious position. Leaning is when you try to use gravity and force to like add your weight to some sort of movement like this. And the hardest thing, I'll get extremely good students who will learn everything very, very well, but it's very hard for them to get rid of this reflex. Everything's perfect. All they have to do is just go like this, but instead they go like this. They always want to add this little extra bit. And in doing that, they ruin the accuracy of the movement. The accuracy of this movement, give me a push again, is based on the accuracy of my own center. If I return this perfectly and move the center, I become completely like a baby. That my return, which before was had absolute authority, now seems like an idiotic idea that nobody should ever believe would work. So, go ahead. But the accuracy of this point is what determines it. So as I say, when you try to add any kind of force to what you're doing, you automatically add it by moving the body in a certain way that it destroys the accurate return of what you're doing.